today, and they'll install it tomorrow, or they'll give you $500. Guaranteed.
JimmyKelly.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
It's the Chris and Amy Show. Check it out.
St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
Now, Amy Marks scores Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Let's take it from the top.
Hey, we're doing it today, friends. We are live at Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village, right across the street from Busch Stadium, because there is day baseball today, which means our day is a little bit shorter than normal because we lead into the Cardinals, who will take on the Texas Rangers this afternoon. 1:15 is the first pitch. The pregame show is at 12:20 today. Follow us on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. We're on the Odyssey app. You should get that. AUDACY.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
Well, how about Tommy Pham? He hit a grand slam last night in his return to the St. Louis Cardinals on the day the trade deadline comes and goes.
And Christopher Dunn, after spending a week in limbo when his murder conviction was vacated last Monday, has finally walked free after days of delays.
And the St. Louis Police Department released body cam footage today and security footage of the shooting that took place a couple of years ago at CVPA. We will have our reaction to that on the show today.
Driven toward the gap, right center field. That ball is going to be gone. One grand slam for Tommy Pham. Holy cow.
Whoa.
Whoa,
That's Chip Carey breaking out a Harry Carey. I think he's allowed. It's in the family. So Tommy Pham returns to the Cardinals after they complete, they make 3 additions. They also have some subtractions that we will talk about here, as the trade deadline happened at 5:00 yesterday. So this is the team, for the most part, the Cardinals are going to have through the end of the season, and Pham hits a grand slam coming in to pinch hit for the Cardinals. So we've got Tom Ackerman, our sports director at KMOX, who is still with us here. And Tom, first of all, how about that nod from Chip to his grandpa?
Yeah, I love that. That's really, really well done. Everybody had a good call last night. John had an excellent call on KMOX. Polo went absolutely nuts.
Polo had a great one
on his call. It was really a special, special moment, and love hearing Chip with the tribute to Harry. I hope he does that more often.
That was very cool, Tom. So here we are. The trade deadline comes and goes. The Cardinals, they get the right-handed bat in Pham. They get a starting pitcher in Eric Fedde. They get a reliever. What is your overall grade for what the Cardinals did at the deadline?
Well, I mean, the Tommy Pham deal is an A. To get him and Fedde for Tommy Edman and Oliver Gonzalez, who is a Dominican Summer League prospect, 17 years old, 6'4", 200-pound pitcher that nobody knows about, but the Dodgers have been looking at him. And, John Mozeliak told me on Sunday that he had gotten some calls about DSL players. So there you go. Dominican Summer League. There he is right there. So they're kind of taking a shot that he'll become a star someday. But you give up Tommy Edman, who didn't have a spot really, and he hadn't played. And, of course, he's been an incredible contributor. But he goes over to the Dodgers, and the White Sox send not only Eric Fedde, but Tommy Pham, who's already shown you. And we talked about him. Gritty, tough, can hit left-handed pitching, can inject energy into the crowd in the clubhouse. He did it all in one swing. I mean, it was just incredible last night, and there's more to come from Tommy. And then Eric Fedde. Fedde is a solid starter, and not only that, but I would put him in the upper level of starters based on what he's done. A 3.11 ERA and a 7-4 record for a team that's only won 27 games. I mean, he's accounted for a quarter of their wins. I mean, it's just amazing. So a very nice trade from that standpoint, and we've already seen it work very well. And then the other one, Dylan Carlson for Sean Armstrong, I'm not sure what to make of it except to say that it's an even swap, because you have Carlson didn't really have a place, and you tried to get something for him. He hadn't been producing. I hope he has a great career. There just wasn't a spot for him, especially once you acquired Pham, and you did get something for him. You got Sean Armstrong, who's a right-handed reliever who had a really good year last year, but his numbers have fallen off this year. And so the hope is that you can get him put back together, and hopefully he can be a late inning threat for you in the bullpen.
Yeah, where do you? That's what I was going to ask you, is where do you fit him in? Who does he really? I guess any reliever that you get, any extra arm you put in a bullpen takes pressure off everybody out there. But in particular, is there somebody that he can really, ease that pressure for?
Probably Roycroft is what I'm thinking of. Maybe somebody who maybe doesn't have as much experience, and he does. Armstrong does. So perhaps it's just a more seasoned veteran who can come in and do a couple of things for you. Gallegos had that role for a long time. They have found another Ray in Kittredge, who's been very good in that spot. And of course, you got the hammer and Helsley waiting in the 9th inning. So it's just another arm that you can plug in there in the 7th and maybe even the 8th inning to get the job done for you. But, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think that you just have to let him sort of get acclimated to being part of the Cardinal bullpen. And again, see if you can turn him around and see what's been bothering him. Why has he been hit so much in 2024?
Tom, on a grading system like A, B, C, D, looking at the Cardinals' needs going into the trade deadline, obviously pitching, and the fact that they picked up a top of the rotation starter, and a bullpen pitcher, how would you grade the moves that they made, the players they got, and so forth?
They get an A. John Mozeliak is the most criticized sports figure in this town, and you have to say that he did a very nice job here. This is a good job by John Mozeliak, not only making the trade. I mean, there were people that were talking about trading Jordan Walker for Eric Fetty. I mean, are you kidding me? No way. No way. I mean, you can't give up on Walker that soon for Fetty.
Well, Tom, that kind of underscores just how cheaply they ended up getting Fetty.
Yeah, and
because he's under control beyond this year.
And right. So you're getting a year and a third, basically, 1 1/3 seasons out of him. He's under control for 25. So you get him down the stretcher and you get him all for next year, and he makes $7.5 million. And that's the other thing, Chris and Amy, is that you had a task here, John Mozeliak, to not add salary. And you can just see by the way he made the deal is that they dealt Edman, who makes money, and they were able to get Fetty, who makes money, but it offsets some of Fetty's salary, and they didn't have to give up big prospects here. I mean, it's a really nice job. But in terms of Amy's question of fulfilling needs, they went 3 for 3. I mean, they got their starter, they got their reliever. He's not a closer, but they have a closer. They needed another arm to put out there. But you really fulfilled the right-handed bat, and you did it with not giving up very much. And you added somebody that has that great personality. It's not like you added a right-handed bat who's just going to come in off of the trade market. You added someone and that the crowd knows, and that the team knows. And Tommy Pham wants to win. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. That's his personality. He plays with an edge. And he came out there. I just had Ollie Marmol on at the end of our show here about 20 minutes ago. And he said, Matt Carpenter in the dugout, when Pham walked up to the plate, looked at me and said, he's going to go yard here. And watch. And he hits it out of the park, a laser over the fence. The adrenaline was pumping, and he channeled it and hit the ball out of the park. It's a really nice addition for the Cardinals to have Pham. Now they have even more depth in the outfield that they can lean on. And Carlson, again, I hope that he becomes a great one, but it just never worked out. He was a very much hyped prospect that did not live up to the hype. But he's only 25 years old, and maybe he can go on and have a nice career because he does have the talent. I just think once he got hurt in Mesa at the end of spring training after a really good Jupiter, when he got hurt against the Cubs, it just sidetracked everything. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it back.
Speaking of the outfield, when you move pieces around, other players pick up new responsibilities or accelerate their own. Do you see much change for Lars Nootbaar? Will he be seeing some center field shifts as well?
I think that's interesting. I think he will. I think that you can move him around a little bit. Ciani is your center fielder most of the time because of his ability out there. Left field, you could move around a little bit and occasionally have Burleson in left or have Burleson DH. So there are some movable parts there. And, of course, Tommy can play all three positions. So that's a good thing. And so he basically replaces Carlson. He's more seasoned. He's got the postseason experience. This guy hit 429 in the World Series last year for the Diamondbacks. And obviously he can hit left-handed pitching. He was hitting 366 going into yesterday with runners on base. That's pretty good. So it tells you what a clutch player he is. I think that the Cardinals just have never been able to get much out of their outfield, and it's been a while. But Alec Burleson has come into his own. Now you add Pham, and keep Lars Nootbaar healthy, and you have Michael Ciani. I think has done what he's been asked to do, and actually maybe the offense is a little bit of a bonus actually because of how good of a defensive player he is. I think he's been able to be an energetic contact hitter, and when he can get on base, he can make some things happen.
Your thoughts on Dylan Carlson? I want to kind of examine that just a little bit more because that was somebody who, when he really started to come in about 2020, there was a lot of hope for him that he could be the future in the Cardinals outfield. It didn't quite work out that way. Why do you suppose it just didn't realize?
It's hard to say. It could be injury. It could be just the fact that sometimes it's very difficult to hit a baseball at the major league level and adjust. I think defensively he's been a very good one, but unfortunately for him, Michael Ciani is better and came in and made some plays. Not that Dylan can't make plays, and I know everybody harps on the ball that he misjudged in right field that scored 3 the other day. That was a tough break for him, but he's been a good player. Just, the expectations were heavy on him. Number 1 prospect in the organization at one point. I know that it was talked about a lot that he was tossed around in the Juan Soto discussions. That started to come out in various reports. But I remember way before that on Sports on a Sunday morning, John Mozeliak told KMOX, he said, as the trade deadline was approaching, he said, you can have Dylan Carlson if you're willing to pry him from my dead hands. And we're like, oh, okay, well, they're not trading Carlson. I mean, it was that big of a deal to have Dylan Carlson. Maybe there was just a lot of pressure and hype that he had to live up to that he couldn't.
Yeah, that's a real shame. But so you're hoping the best for him in his career and hoping these deals end up working out for the Cardinals. So now that you look at them, here they are. They've made their moves. We know what the National League looks like. We know what the Central Division looks like. I know it's difficult to project, but with 2 months left to go, Tom, what do you think happens here?
They have to get on a run, Chris. They have to get on one of those runs again. They have not been very good over the last couple of weeks. I mean, they've stumbled. They've not won series. They did not do what they did back in late June, early July when they started to go on their run. They're 3 games over 500. They're 2 out in the wild card. The Pirates are a real pain, and they've been making some moves. They made moves at the deadline yesterday, so they're a problem. The Brewers are a team that I'm still waiting to fall back a little bit. That has not happened, but they are 6 up on the Pirates and Cardinals in the Central, and it's very doable, and you have games with the Brewers coming. So you have an opportunity to take them out. But this NL wild card is tough. The Braves are a good team, but they are playing way under, and they've also had a lot of bad luck, and they didn't make any moves yesterday at the deadline. The Mets are trying to get back to what they used to be. They're tied with the Padres, who I think are dangerous. Padres added to their bullpen and could be really good. The Diamondbacks are adding, and then you got the Pirates and then the Cardinals. I mean, you're talking about 6 teams fighting for 3 spots. It's going to be tough to do. Obviously, stay healthy. I really think the Fetty addition is big. There was a hole in their rotation. There was a chance they could start to wear down. They have now alleviated that with the addition of Fetty. Pham helps them from the right side, but this is on everybody now to up their game and get themselves in the position to get back to the playoffs. The pressure is on, but the Cardinals are playing, especially if you look at last night, maybe a springboard to what's been a passionate, enthusiastic take. They don't give in, and those are good signs.
All right, Tom Ackerman, as always, we love talking to you. Thanks for helping us break down the trade deadline for the Cardinals, and now we're about to enter the 5th month of the season with just 2 left to go. Time is running out, so hopefully the Cardinals can stay where they are at least and maybe make up some ground in the Central. Appreciate it, buddy.
Anytime. Have a great time over at Cardinals Nation, and we will have pregame for you at 12:20 today on KMOX.
You're going to have that pregame show at 12:20. Then you've got John and Ricky and Claves all part of the broadcast today. They will take on the Texas Rangers. Again, 1:15 is the first pitch. And as Tom mentioned, he's got the pregame show starting at 12:20. Michael McGreevy is pitching in his major league debut for the Birds today. Andrew Haney is pitching for the Texas Rangers. It's Chris and Amy. We are live from Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village. We got a good show for you today. Again, it's a little short, but it's okay because we've got baseball today. It's a great day for baseball. It's going to be 100.
Well,
Not really.
it's a
like
little
92.
swampy.
Little
swampy, but
a perfect weekday baseball game
You know what
in
it is?
St. Louis.
It's good for some good cold beer day drinking.
Yeah, come on to Cardinals Nation. We're here. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I'm Robert Cornejo. It is an honor to serve as judge for St. Charles County, the community that I am proud to be raising my family in. In my courtroom, I follow the Constitution and the rule of law. I'm not here to legislate from the bench. I'm here to ensure justice is carried out efficiently and fairly. My number one priority as a judge is to make sure this is a safe community for families like mine.
Robert Cornejo served in the Missouri House, where he defended the sanctity of life, prevented illegal immigrants from receiving taxpayer-subsidized tuition, fought against big government, and strengthened our Second Amendment rights. Judge Robert Cornejo is endorsed by the St. Louis County Police Association and Eastern Missouri Coalition of Police for his work to keep St. Charles County safe. Judge Cornejo also has the support of local firefighters.
When you cast your vote, I hope that you will allow me, Judge Robert Cornejo, to be the next circuit judge for St. Charles County.
Paid for by friends of Robert Cornejo. Allison Onder, Treasurer.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli. Dan Raker's Treasurer.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 Gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3077. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3077 now to secure your 1904P $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3077.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
Stay connected with the heartbeat of St. Louis. KMOX News, bringing you the stories that matter most. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
St. Louis, listen, it was 34 years ago that they took me away from you. It should have been this long. Nor should it have taken this long for everyone to want to come forward now. All I can ask you to do is give the system a chance to work itself out.
That was the voice of Christopher Dunn, who last Monday had his murder conviction vacated and finally has walked free after serving 33 years in prison after being wrongly convicted. And of course, this past week has been incredibly traumatic and emotional for him because once the Judge Jason Sennheiser gave the order to vacate his murder conviction and that Dunn should be set free, Attorney General Andrew Bailey appealed that ruling, and the Missouri Supreme Court said, well, he's got to stay in jail until we figure out the appeal. But finally, Dunn is free. He also thanked St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore, as well as the Innocence Project, for helping to secure his release because, again, new evidence being shown that not only casted a reasonable doubt, but actually was evidence of his, quote, actual innocence. And that's according to Judge Jason Sennheiser.
Yeah, when it goes beyond the reasonable doubt threshold, and it's not just that, it's that there is evidence of his likely innocence, then it's even more frustrating, I'm sure, from his perspective to be there and to feel like you're getting out of prison and then suddenly that gets pulled away from you. He talked about that as well.
To hear the decision of the judge and then get prepared to leave on Wednesday, only to be brought back into the prison, it was torture.
Yeah, I can't.
I
can't even imagine what that's like.
I think 50, 60 feet from freedom, from an open door. He was in his own clothes after 33 years. He lost his childhood. He lost his life. He was wrongly convicted. He did have a statement for Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who again wanted to block his release.
Have a nice life.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Have a nice life. I can't, and I know I said this already, but I can't imagine, first of all, what it must be like. And we have joked about this before, you and me, being wrongfully convicted of anything and how it's one of those fears of ours and it's stupid and I get it. But it does happen to people. The odds of it happening to you are very, very low. So when it does happen, it's even more difficult. I can't imagine going through what he went through for so long and then almost get out and then the rug's pulled from under you, but then you finally get out. He must be relieved, but also still kind of angry.
I'm so happy for Christopher Dunn, his wife, his family. I wish him all the best and that the years that he lost unfairly can be redeemed.
What is a demographic winter? Well, St. Louis is going through one. Joe Blanner has some expertise in this. We're going to talk to him when we come back on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Conservative Dave Wassinger is the only pro-Trump Republican running for lieutenant governor. Wassinger is the only candidate endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. And Wassinger is the only candidate for lieutenant governor with the guts to work with Trump to deport illegals. Wassinger's policy on illegal immigration is simple. Come here legally, or it's adios, amigos. Listen to conservative pro-Trump Republican Dave Wassinger.
President Trump is right. Illegals break our laws, steal our jobs, and overwhelm our hospitals. It has to stop. As your lieutenant governor, I'll fight to keep Missouri safe and deport illegals. You come here legally, or it's adios, amigos.
Dave Wassinger, tough on illegal immigration. Dave Wassinger, pro-Trump. Dave Wassinger, pro-life. Vote Dave Wassinger for lieutenant governor. Paid for by Wassinger for Missouri. Henry Charles Poles, treasurer.
Paid for by Lori Rook from Missouri. Ryan Rook, treasurer.
You deserve to know where your tax dollars are really going. You deserve to know about the backdoor deals our politicians are making with lobbyists. And you deserve to know when your elected officials are supporting things that compromise your conservative values. But right now, it's all hidden behind the curtain. As your next Missouri State Treasurer, I will publish the full story of our state's spending in one easy-to-use website. Vote for me, Lori Rook, in the August 6th Republican primary, because you deserve to know.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 10:30, sun 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. The killing of a Hamas top leader in Iran by an Israeli strike is increasing worries that regional conflicts could escalate. Naomi Baryakov, an associate fellow at the International Security Program at Chatham House.
Israel claims that they want the hostages back, but acts like this are not going to make it easier to get the hostages back.
In his first game back with the Cardinals, Tommy Pham hits a grand slam, and the Cardinals even up their 3-game series against the Rangers, a game apiece, with an 8-1 victory last night. Lance Lynn goes 5 innings, allowing just 1 run on 3 hits with 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. Rubber game of the match coming up this afternoon at Busch Stadium. Michael McGreevy will make the start, making his major league debut. He'll be opposed by Andrew Heaney. 1:15 first pitch. Our coverage gets underway at 12:20. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Excessive heat warning remains in effect. Real field temperatures about 105 this afternoon and again tomorrow. Air temperature high of about 100 for tonight. Could be a thunderstorm, low 80 for tomorrow. Thunderstorm with a high of 98. It's 88 now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Design Air, St. Louis's leading air conditioning repair service. Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, this is the perfect time to make sure your air conditioner is ready for what could be a brutal summer. Do what my wife Beth and I do. Contact Design Air at designairservice.com.
Hey, fantasy football owners. The road to winning your fantasy football championship starts now. I'm Matt Harmon from Reception Perception. Join me and James Coe as we take a deep dive into the position that's going to make or break your fantasy roster. Wide receivers. We analyze route running, target share, and all the metrics that matter, giving you the insights you need to draft the best wide receivers. As you prep for your draft, let us give you the coverage you need. Follow and listen to Reception Perception on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty, reminding you why pay more than 4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hello, Missouri. I'm Jamie Corley, a fifth-generation Missourian and conservative outsider running for Secretary of State. The swamp establishment has embarrassed our state for too long. I'll fight to protect our values, support President Trump, and bring integrity back to Missouri. Join me, Jamie Corley, in this fight for real change. Vote for a proud Missourian who will always stand up for you. Paid for by Jamie Corley from Missouri, Mary C. Walsh, Treasurer.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
I'm Maria Kina. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX, and there is a thing called a demographic winter, which might be a new term to a lot of people. And apparently the city of St. Louis, the region of St. Louis, is going through one right now. To talk more about what that means for us, what the implications are, how we can get past it, how things can improve in the St. Louis area. Joe Blanner is an equity partner with the law firm McCarthy, Leonard and Kemmer, and is with us here in studio. We appreciate your time, Joe. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, tell us what, and for people who are listening and aren't quite sure what a demographic winter is, St. Louis is going through one. What is it?
So what that means is the number of deaths that you have in your region exceed the number of births, and the number of senior citizens you have exceed the number of toddlers. So if you look at the implications of that, that means that you can't organically grow. Your population is going to decline. And so you have to look at other mechanisms. Specifically, you need to look at in-migration of new people into the region, and you need to look at stemming the population decline.
And just to clarify too, because this shocked me. I mean, we've talked about the population loss in the city of St. Louis, but you're talking about the region. So St. Louis County as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we, Chip Castile and I, Chip was the former, he worked for the Regional Chamber of Commerce. Chip and I examined the demographic data for the St. Louis region, the metropolitan statistical area, over a period of 50 years, from 1970 to 1950. And the first article that we worked on, we examined the population trends of St. Louis against those competing regions. And what we found was that in St. Louis, our population was growing at a rate of about 19% over that 50-year period, whereas competing regions were growing much faster. So for instance, regions like Memphis and Kansas City and Cincinnati were growing 3 times our rate, whereas regions like Oklahoma City, Indianapolis, and Minneapolis grew at 5 times our rate. So that suggested to us, these are regions like ours that have issues with poverty. They have issues with their schools. They have issues with racial disparities and crime. This suggested to us that St. Louis has a fundamental problem that's been taking place for a 5-decade period. So then we looked at the more recent data, which is from 2020 to 2024. And what we found was that the trend becomes more alarming because instead of growing at a population or at a rate of 19% over that 50-year period, our population has started to decline. So from 70 to 50, we saw a flat population in the city, population decline in the county, but we saw the collar counties growing rapidly.
Yeah. So you mentioned the St. Louis City and the county, but also in the Metro East, you've got St. Clair and Madison County. And what we're seeing is a decline in the populations in those areas. We're seeing growth in St. Charles County, Jefferson County, Franklin in Missouri, for example. Why is that happening? Do we have a good indication of why some parts of the area are growing, but others are not?
Well, it appears that people are moving within the region. That's what it appears to be. But if we look at those population trends over the last several decades, those collar counties were growing rapidly. So St. Charles, for instance, was growing by leaps and bounds, and that growth was able to offset the population losses of the city. But what we see over the last 4 years is the population growth in those collar counties has slowed considerably. And so now what we see as a region is we see population decline.
So they are growing, but not fast enough to make up for what city and county are losing.
That's correct. And why that's a concern is because population growth drives economic growth. So when you bring new people into the region, they buy houses, they go shopping, they have jobs. All of these things drive a regional economy. When we have population decline, businesses from outside of the region, when they look at our region, they don't look at it as a favorable destination. So your struggle to attract businesses, which can further your struggles to attract people.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it does feel like the growth of the collar counties and like St. Charles County, it kind of masked the problem. But the St. Charles County, yes, they're still growing, but they're really losing steam. They're not gaining steam, which doesn't bode well for the area. A quick question. Did you look at the numbers of how immigration plays into this and where are we getting immigrants? Are they going to certain counties or the city?
So we didn't look at that. Really, the purpose for our article was to identify this as a significant problem and not to propose solutions. We're really quick in St. Louis to propose solutions to things that we perceive as problems. And what we're really wanting to do is highlight this as a problem and have it as a call to action for area leaders, political, business, and civic, to do a deep dive into this. Make this a fundamental priority issue and do an evidence-based study to try to figure out how we map a road out.
So, by the way, we're visiting with Joe Blanner from McCarthy, Leonard, and Kemmerer. What is our way out of it? As far as you can tell, I know that's not really the point of the exercise, at least from your perspective, but there have to be some thoughts there of what we can do to really turn this around. Because if we're losing population in the city and county, and the people who are leaving aren't necessarily going to St. Charles or sticking around, that means they're leaving altogether. So what do we do about that?
Well, this is where I'm reluctant to offer answers, because I really want, the purpose for the article was to get people's attention and have the political leaders of the region do a deep dive into this issue and look at, what are competing regions. Other regions have gone through similar things. What have they done to reverse that trend? To your question before, do we have sufficient numbers of immigrants, or if there's ways that we can attract more people into the region or immigration. But I'm not trying to offer any solutions. I'm trying to highlight the fact that this is a significant, catastrophic problem that's been going on for 54 years now.
Yeah, and I do think it's easy, at least for the past few years, decades. If you live in Chesterfield, if you live in Fenton, if you live in St. Charles, you look at the city of St. Louis, and that's where you think all the problems are. That's where you think the exodus is of people living there. And it's not my problem. They got to deal with crime. But we are a region. We're all tied together. We had St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman in, who said, listen, what happens in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, that affects St. Charles. And you have to look years ahead. And we've got to get our act together, because this type of population loss, this accelerating demographic winter, by the time we all notice it, it's too late, or it's very difficult to reverse that trend.
That's precisely right. And we have not, in a systemic, evidence-based way, examined this problem over the last 54 years. So the time is now, or we're going to continue to lose population and we're going to continue to decline.
So what sort of contact have you had with city leaders, county leaders? What do you know of that's happening to address this, if at all?
Well, I've had a good response to the article, but I haven't spoken with city or county leaders or the exurb counties. I know that Chip spoke with Steve Ellman, and he was very interested in the piece and is focused on this issue. It's my hope that other leaders within the region will take notice of this issue and will begin an effort to analyze it in a way that can put together a plan to address the problem.
The piece you're talking about is the St. Louis Business Journal piece. The title of it is "The Only Way Out of St. Louis's Demographic Winter." It is an opinion piece. Has there been an effort to reach out to city leaders? What I'm wondering is, would they be receptive, or is it the kind of thing where you're trying to and you're just not hearing anything back?
No, we haven't started that effort. The article was just appeared last week and is going to be in the print edition this week. So, the article is fresh off the newsstand. It's my hope that area leaders will take notice of this, and certainly it's our intention to reach out to them. It's also my hope that people across party lines and regionally will recognize that this is an issue that impacts us all. And so, we need to be able to come together to try to address it.
Well, there isn't. It does seem like all that happens now is, it's the Democrats or it's the Republicans. It's their fault that everything's falling apart. I don't know how we get anywhere if we don't all just decide, look, fine, forget whose fault it is. Let's fix it.
Right. Let's recognize that it's a significant substantive problem first. That's what we call in our article, we call out. Let's acknowledge that this is a significant issue, and then let's chart a path out of it based on evidence and analyzation of what other regions have done.
Yeah, and I do think, again, I try to imagine all St. Louis County, St. Louis City, the surrounding counties all working together, and that feels like a stretch of my imagination to see that happening. But when you look at the whole region, it's insane that we're not the region where families are exploding here because it is a great place to raise a family. We don't have mountains. We don't have the beach. We're not New York. I get it. We're not a big, sexy area, but it is a great region to grow, whether you are starting a business or building a family, or if you are, an immigrant, you're just coming to this country. This is such a great area. It makes no sense that we would be declining in population, because you can see big cities. It's hard, right? It's hard to buy a house. It's hard to raise a family. If you can't do it here, I don't know where you can do it.
We really do have something worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
We have world-class cultural institutions, world-class universities, low cost of living, a great place to raise a family, good public and private school districts. We have something that's worth fighting for here. It's time that we start doing it.
Yeah. In your opinion, the fracturing of the city and county, which has been a thing for, 100 plus years, longer than that, I guess. You go back to the pre-1900s, it's sort of been this way. How much do you think that holds us back, in your personal opinion?
Well, as the governor's lone appointee to the Board of Freeholders that never got off the ground, yeah, absolutely. I do think that the fact that the city is a city not within a county, I think the Great Divorce, which is an issue that I'm extremely familiar with, it is an issue that holds us back. Historically, the city has been incapable of absorbing its growth, where a lot of cities were able to either annex or to consolidate with adjacent cities. The city of St. Louis was never able to do so. So it's
because they set the boundary.
That's right. Its boundaries have been fixed forever.
It's stupid. It's stupid. There were people arguing at the time, and we're talking mid to late 1800s. We're arguing, just let the Second River be the natural border for the city. Let us expand to that eventually. And we were like, no, but we'll end it at the park.
So,
what are we?
So in 1876, in the defense of the freeholders that drafted the scheme of separation, they had some significant issues that they were dealing with, both with state meddling with city affairs and with the county at the time. And when they adopted the divorce, they tripled the size of the city and most of the area that they absorbed. So they went from 17 square miles to 63 square miles where we sit today. Most of the property that they absorbed was farmland. So, in their defense in 1876, when this happened, they couldn't foresee streetcars and highways and automobiles. So, I think they thought that they were crafting a solution to significant problems that they were facing at the time. What they didn't realize that there would be unintended consequences.
Still very upset with them.
I
think we should take it out on all of them. Joe Blanner, we appreciate your time coming in, and this is an issue that Amy and I both care about quite a bit, and I think everybody here should. So thank you for coming in.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Joe Blanner with us in studio. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
What if I told you your home movies are already past their prime? It's true. The magnetic tape used in VHS and camcorder tapes only lasts between 10 to 20 years, which means your baby's first steps, weddings, and family vacations are fading away as we speak. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops this fading process in its tracks. And by preserving your recordings, they're safe forever. Legacy Box is simply the best way to preserve your past, which is why they've been trusted by over 1 million families. Your memories are meant to be shared, not chewed up by the VCR or worn away with time. For a limited time, you can convert your tapes to digital for just $9 a tape. There's never been a better time to convert your entire collection. That includes film reels and photos too. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to unlock our $9 offer. legacybox.com/value.
There's Mike Kehoe's campaign bus that's owned by a Chinese lobbyist. Swampy Kehoe is hitching a ride after voting 4 times to sell Missouri farmland to China. Luckily, Trump-endorsed conservative Jay Ashcroft is tough on China. He led the charge to stop China from buying our farms. Call and thank Ashcroft for being China's worst enemy. 573-751-4936. Paid for by Stand for US PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUS.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
McKelvey Homes waterfront at Wild Horse Village in Chesterfield is selling fast. With just 3 open home sites and 2 quick move-in homes available, you don't want to miss your chance to live in this unique community. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for more information.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
What do Donna Vogt, Janet Williams, Susan Honor, and Jonathan Hurst have in common? They're just some of the best fans in baseball and winners of a pair of tickets to an upcoming game at $100 to Rawlings. Want to get in on the winning? To get entered, head to KMOX.com/contest and upload a photo of you decked out in your game day attire. The best fans in baseball, presented by KMOX and Rawlings, the mark of a pro.
I'm Dave Glover. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way!
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Grange, I know we've both been watching a lot of the Olympics, but 10,000 miles away from Paris is Tahiti in French Polynesia. And that is where Olympic surfing is taking place. And NBC has...
It's pretty funny, by the way.
That it's 10,000 miles away?
Yes, that there isn't a location for them to surf.
Well, it's still Frenchy. It's the French Polynesian Islands.
But it's not where everybody else is.
Where are they supposed to surf?
You don't get the Olympics in the summer. Because if you can't on the mainland have all of your events, then you don't get to do it.
Well, NBC has sent none other than SNL cast member Colin Jost to Tahiti.
Yes, I'm here in my role as a surfing correspondent, but kind of in a gonzo journalism way. In that spirit, I've started partaking of the surfing as well. I was very lucky to get to surf with John Florence and Carissa Moore, and they humored me and took me out and watched my surfing.
And so it's like a 5.5 minute interview that he did yesterday. That's pretty funny. It's very dry in that kind of apathetic voice, but he's like, yes, I'm surrounded by chickens, and you can see we're having troubles with connection and I'm also surrounded by chickens. Yeah. He stepped on coral reef, and He said he has open wounds. And while he was doing the interview, he said he had to keep on walking in circles so that the ants wouldn't climb into his wounds. And he's now on 3 different types of antibiotics because he also got an ear infection. And the woman interviewing him was pretty funny. She said, yes, Colin Jost, somehow you've made paradise both tragic and difficult.
He really did, didn't he?
He did. It was pretty funny, though. So he was sitting in the pool and just his butt was in the pool because his head and his feet had to be elevated out of the water because he now has a toe infection.
That's right.
And an ear infection.
Well, you got to watch out, man.
I know.
Don't ever go in the water. I'm taking tips from the Army Golden Knights, the parachute team, who told us that they do not mess around with the water because they don't know what's in there. The sky, they don't mind the sky, but it's the water.
It's the water.
Also with the Olympics, yesterday, the women's gymnastics team took home gold medals. Simone Biles. She's unbelievable, right? Well, maybe you've heard about former U.S. gymnast Michaela Skinner, who a couple of years ago called the team lazy and said that there was a lack of talent and depth on the team.
She said the girls didn't work as hard.
They didn't work as hard.
Yeah.
So there was also, if you remember, not too long ago, a gymnast on the team named Michaela Maroney.
Yes.
And she was the one who made the not impressed face. Yeah. Everybody remembers her.
When she won silver.
People have been confusing the two because they're both named Michaela.
Yeah.
And so Michaela Maroney has been getting just blasted by people for talking about them. And she says, I'm not the one who did that. Well, at any rate, this poor Michaela Maroney had nothing to do with it. And she has tweeted about them lovingly. And so has Michaela Skinner, who has backtracked on it and said, well, I didn't mean to disrespect anybody. Except you disrespected everybody.
Disrespected everybody, including Simone Biles, who, after seeing Michaela Skinner's comment, said, not everybody needs a platform.
That is exactly right, dude. How can you say the words about somebody lazy, lack of talent and depth, don't work very hard, and say no disrespect?
Yeah. But
that's all disrespect.
It also stinks to be Michaela Maroney because she did nothing wrong.
No, she didn't. That poor girl. Anyway, I think we're going to be okay.
We are. Well, you're going to be doing great if you reach out to Together Credit Union with their Empower Checking. You can get paid to save with Empowered Checking. So this is a brand new high yield checking account that they've just launched at Together Credit Union. And with Empowered Checking, you can earn above market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. That's exactly how it works. Interest is paid to you each month. So it's a checking account that actually rewards you for balances and not activity. So your money doesn't have to just sit there like a bump on a log. To apply, visit togethercu.org or stop by any one of their 14 St. Louis branches. Everyone who works there are awesome. The member advocates will help you out, explain anything if you have any questions. And so I highly recommend you visit them, whether it's online or in person. Get paid to save with Empower Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA.
As President Trump's trusted attorney, Missouri's Will Scharf beat the lawfare liberals at their own game, delivering a major victory for Trump at the Supreme Court. He'll win for Missouri, too. Scharf's a rule of law conservative, tough on crime, backs the blue. Conservative Will Scharf, warrior for Trump, winner for Missouri Attorney General. Because Missouri's lost enough with liberal Andrew Bailey. As a prosecutor, Bailey went easy on a violent repeat felon with a long rap sheet, including shooting up a police car. Yet Bailey charged him with mere misdemeanors when he struck again, leading to a plea deal that cut him loose within months. Bailey slapped a violent felon on the wrist, the same wrist he allegedly used to shoot a cop. Buried last year, mourned by loved ones wearing black because Bailey betrayed the blue. He'll betray Missouri, too. Defend Missouri PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. 471-671-2291.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Let's face it, planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful. And things like record inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, and the possibility of Social Security disappearing all feel like roadblocks to reaching that retirement finish line. All of these issues can have a major impact on your life savings. So the question is, what are you doing about it? Join the All Financial Group August 22nd and the 27th at Cooper's Hawk for a presentation providing you with the tools, insight, and proven strategies that can help you overcome these retirement roadblocks. Seating is limited and you must register to attend. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Hey guys, this is Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 to 5 p.m. on KMOX. So you can't do a talk show without talking about politics now and then. I consider myself to be a down-the-middle, independent, free-thinking guy. I am capable of my mind being changed. Hopefully I'm capable of at least challenging you. With 5 people on the show, you're going to find someone who you align with. It's honest, it's real, it's challenging, and it's fun. That's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day on KMOX.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a cloudy sky, 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. Our top story this hour, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh has been killed in Iran, with the militant group blaming an Israeli airstrike for his death. Haniyeh was in the Iranian capital of Tehran, where he attended the swearing-in of Iran's new president yesterday. CBS's Ian Lee says this attack leaves talks of a ceasefire in the war in Gaza on shaky ground.
Ismail Haniyeh was a political leader within Hamas. He was the public face of the group's diplomacy and leading those efforts for a ceasefire. Now, while he was designated a global terrorist by the U.S., he was also seen as more pragmatic than other members of Hamas. His death will definitely be a blow to any sorts of negotiation, something the Biden administration was hoping could bring about a ceasefire.
The death of the Hamas leader comes after Israeli Defense Forces say they killed a top Hezbollah commander in Beirut. Delta Airlines has hired a law firm and plans to sue Microsoft and CrowdStrike after the cyber outage. The worldwide technology meltdown caused by a flawed update installed this month on computers running on Windows software. Ed Bastian, CEO of Delta, on CNBC.
This cost us $500 million over a period of 5 days between not just the lost revenue, but the tens of millions of dollars per day in compensation and hotels. And we did everything we could to take care of our customers over that time frame.
Boeing continues to face financial turbulence. Here's CBS's Jim Krasula.
Boeing says it posted a $1.4 billion loss in the second quarter. The loss was bigger and revenue was lower than Wall Street expected. The airplane maker also says it's hired a new CEO. The company is mired in crisis after a cabin panel on a 737 MAX 9 jet blew off in midair in January. That led to a slowdown in production of its top-selling plane and a management shakeup. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
Ever thought about becoming a storm spotter for the National Weather Service?
It's actually easier than you might think. NWS St. Louis office lead meteorologist Matt Beitcher says it's for all ages and you don't need any special skills.
We have kids as young as 10 or 11 come to these classes and people as old as 90 come to these classes. Anybody who has an interest in weather and an interest in helping the community is welcome at these classes.
There's a virtual class coming up Monday night, August 5th at 7. Sign up for it at weather.gov/ST Lewis. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk, the Attorney General of Washington, D.C. is suing StubHub, claiming it rips off ticket buyers.
StubHub uses a bait-and-switch tactic.
In the lawsuit, D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab argues that StubHub advertises deceptively low prices and then tacks on surprise fees at the end of a purchase.
In D.C., close to $120 million in hidden fees have been charged by StubHub. Our lawsuit seeks to recover those fees.
StubHub responded, claiming the way it operates is consistent with the law and with the broader e-commerce sector. Nick Iannelli for CBS News, Washington.
The Dow from Stifel up 244 points to 40,987.
Heavy gusty thunderstorms will pass just north and east of the city through midday and early afternoon. Otherwise, times of sun and clouds, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high near 100. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got clouds now. It's 89 in Florissant and St. Peter's and 89 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Stifel.
At Stifel, we put everything into the success of our advisors so they can put everything into your success. That's why we're the top-ranked wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel, Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE. Visit jdpower.com for details.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
We're live from Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village. The Cardinals do play this afternoon. We're leading up to the 12:20 pregame show. There is a 1:15 first pitch, Cardinals and Texas at Busch. Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji with you. And the CVPA school shooting from 2022, we got some body cam footage and security footage that was released this morning by the St. Louis Police Department, showing several minutes of the incident. To talk about what leads to something like this, trying to get inside the head of a school shooter, Dr. Randy Mosenter is a psychologist, part of the clinical medical staff at Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Med School, with us on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Dr. Mosenter, it's good to have you with us. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you today?
We are doing okay. Not sure if you've had an opportunity or even want to see some of that body cam footage or the security footage from the shooting at CVPA, but if you have seen it, does it, when you see something like that, does it give you any sort of insight?
So I haven't yet seen it. I've unfortunately or fortunately been with patients since 8 a.m. this morning, literally until 1 minute ago. But yes, I certainly intend to watch it. I think it's you know, for professionals especially, it's important to see these things that people are being exposed to, especially youth. And I think it's not so much as getting in the head of one specific individual. I think a lot of it is really about understanding the negative influences of exposure to violence, especially on youth.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that. I know I read a story in the New Yorker several years ago. I think it was 2015. And it talked about the increase in school shootings, the school shootings that we're seeing. And one of the, I guess, explanations for the school shootings is not so much that we have so many more desperate, unwell, unhappy young men committing school shootings, but that with every school shooting that happens, the threshold for taking violent action lowers for the next school shooter. In the same way, when a riot is started, it takes more for the first person to throw a rock, but once one rock is thrown, more people are willing to jump in. It lowers that threshold. Is that something that you've seen in your experience?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, well, a couple of things. So let's talk for a second about what you just described, and then let's talk about what desensitization really is, okay? So what it takes to initiate an action, to be the first person to throw the punch, for example, or whatever, takes, a much bigger stretch of thought process and throwing caution to the wind and everything else. But once you see that, once one person has done that, it's a lot easier to join in. And that may hold true for lots of different things, not just negative experiences. So, for example, if you see someone go up and hug somebody that's really hurting, is it easier for the second person to go hug them too? Sure. So part of it is decreasing that fear or anxiety about what's going to happen if I do this. With violence, if you're not the one that started it, if somebody else started it and you just joined in, it's easier to tell yourself that somebody else made it okay, or it's not so bad, or it's not in the realm of things that can't happen, which is another point that once you see something, it's not unbelievable anymore. So, before there was ever a school shooting, for example, did it feel perhaps to people like that can't happen? That's so outside the realm of possibility that it can't be considered. But then once it happened, then it's out there like, oh, this could really happen. And then does it make it easier? Maybe.
So, I mean, what you're just...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the other thing is to understand what desensitization is. And there's been a ton of studies. However, most of them have been on the negative influences of being exposed to violence on youth. And they've looked at some real life violence, and they've also looked at, violent movies and video games and things like that. But studying these things is really difficult methodologically because you're not in a controlled situation where, you have a control group and you have another group and you're purposely exposing them to these things so you can measure it. That wouldn't be very ethical. So proving causation is very difficult. However, we can look at correlation. So among youth faced with overwhelming levels of violence, over time, it seems to contribute to more violent behavior, greater tolerance of violence, and also negative interpersonal relationships. The other thing is, with these added exposures, what we know is that people, especially older youth, as opposed to adults, and as opposed to like middle school kids, have the biggest impact. And the way that it impacts them is it gets less of a physiological impact. So normally when we're in a stressful situation, we have this fight or flight response and our heart rate goes up, our blood pressure goes up, and everything else. But with repeated exposure, it doesn't feel like that big a deal. And so it may be easier to, just kind of take it in stride as, well, okay, that's just the way the world is.
Does this sort of thing, so when these body cam videos come out, is there a greater harm to the public in showing it, or do you believe that there's actually real value in it, that we can see what happened?
I mean, I think it's a mixed bag. One exposure to something is pretty meaningless unless it's, so horrible and terrible that what you're seeing only requires seeing it once to have a huge impact. It seems that it's much more the repeated exposure to, violence in real life or, constant violence on TV and videos, whether it's real life or not. And what we've seen is that it really affects empathy.
Yeah.
So people don't care as much, especially males, and especially that older kind of 15 to 20 age group seem to be especially affected.
You know, it's so interesting. I read a story, and I wish for the life of me I could find it. I think it was American Psychology or one of those magazines. But I read a statement that really struck me and made me sad. The doctor who was writing this piece said, when you look at that age group that you just mentioned, I think that Gen Z, and when they have YouTube and TikToks, and I know at this point several years ago there was the Japanese forest where people were taking their own lives, and it was being streamed on YouTube, and eventually it was taken down, but I think it had 400,000 thumbs up before it was taken down. And this doctor said that in Gen Z we are seeing the first generation that cannot be shocked. And and that struck me, because even think of like Howard Stern and shock jocks. He's had to change his career because nothing is too vulgar, nothing is too violent. There's nothing that's not out there that we haven't seen.
Yeah, and we get used to that, right? Like the more, if we grow up with something, we don't know that that's not normal if it's a part of our normal everyday life. The other thing is that we know that children have difficulty differentiating fiction from reality. So, if you're watching something on TV or on a video game, you may think it's all fantasy play, even if it's live, footage of a horrible event. And so I was just going to say, if you can't tell the difference between, reality and fantasy, then does it feel like, everything is, bad, bad effects in a movie? We watch a movie from 30 years ago. It's not so scary because the special effects weren't as good.
Do you think, are you seeing young kids who have been exposed to, violence in movies? I know like Deadpool seems like a Marvel movie, but it's not for 7-year-olds, so a kid who sees movies that are too violent, or maybe on YouTube sees some horrible things, or things that are very sexually explicit, and their brains are not emotionally mature enough to handle and process that. Do you see kids acting out or struggling because they're carrying information that they don't know what to do with?
Yeah, I think we clearly need a lot more studies and a lot more complicated studies, really teasing apart the different pieces. It's hard to know what's causation as opposed to a correlation, but we do know that, the brain is not really fully developed until early 20s or so. And while all those new roots are being made permanent, we do know that the things we're exposed to and that we see in childhood and, through early adulthood have a huge impact in terms of our identity and how we see the world and what we expect and how we see our place in society and what we're worth and, how we get ahead. So if we're surrounded by violence and, that's just the way of the world, that does seem to lead to more aggression and more antisocial behavior because it's not seen as something so unusual and horrible. It's just the way the world is.
Dr. Mosenter, psychologist, part of the clinical medical staff at BJC and also Wash U Medical School. We appreciate your expertise. Thank you for visiting with us this morning on KMOX.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
That is Dr. Randy Mosenter joining us. We've had her on before. She's fantastic. And again, the CVPA security footage has been released by the STLPD.
Mhm.
They released it. They released some body cam footage. You can see it. It is it's heavily edited. You can't see any gory parts. So if it's out there,
Yep.
and they release it, and I do think there is value to people seeing it, but certainly there are dangers that go along with it as well. By the way, completely off topic. I mean, we're broadcasting live from Cardinals Nation
Yeah.
at Ballpark Village. The Cardinals will play this afternoon. 1:15 first pitch, 12:20 is the pregame show. Michael McGreevy is starting, and the reason he is starting is because Lance Lynn has been placed on the injured list. He's on the 15-day IL, and he's got some knee soreness, so not exactly sure how long he is going to be out, but he is out. McGreevy is pitching for him today. So it's even more important that the Cardinals picked up a starter at the trade deadline in Eric Fetty. We're going to talk to John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, at the bottom of the hour. But as we mentioned, that security footage is out. Amy and I will give you our thoughts when we come back. Our phone number, of course, as always, 314-436-7900. We are on social media at Chris Amy KMOX. It is Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji, live from Cardinals Nation.
I'm Robert Cornejo. It is an honor to serve as judge for St. Charles County, the community that I am proud to be raising my family in. In my courtroom, I follow the Constitution and the rule of law. I'm not here to legislate from the bench. I'm here to ensure justice is carried out efficiently and fairly. My number one priority as a judge is to make sure this is a safe community for families like mine.
Robert Cornejo served in the Missouri House, where he defended the sanctity of life, prevented illegal immigrants from receiving taxpayer-subsidized tuition, fought against big government, and strengthened our Second Amendment rights. Judge Robert Cornejo is endorsed by the St. Louis County Police Association and Eastern Missouri Coalition of Police for his work to keep St. Charles County safe. Judge Cornejo also has the support of local firefighters.
When you cast your vote, I hope that you will allow me, Judge Robert Cornejo, to be the next circuit judge for St. Charles County.
Paid for by friends of Robert Cornejo. Allison Onder, Treasurer.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop $49.99. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Rich Orris hosts the Kingamo X Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, Kingamo X.
Got a long weapon. Back up. Stand by. We're standing outside 309. Hit it! Hit it! Hit it! Hit it!
That is from body cam footage that was released today by the St. Louis Police Department, the CVPA shooting from October of 2022. And there were two different sets of footage that were released, about 9 minutes worth of security cam footage from inside the school without audio. But then we got some of the body cam footage of the officers who went in and went directly for the shooter, tried to find him, and they eventually neutralized him, which was a very big deal at the time, Amy.
Yeah.
We talked about it when it happened, that after Uvalde,
Yep.
and after the absolute failure by the police there to do anything, when there were hundreds of officers on scene, and knowing the carnage was going on inside for so long, and they still did nothing, these guys, they went straight for it.
And it's difficult to watch the video. It does show kind of like you mentioned, that first video that is just about 9 minutes long, just shy of 9 minutes. It does show the shooter walking through the hallways, an unarmed security guard running back. Seems that he's radioing maybe to other people in the building what's going on. The second video, which does show law enforcement neutralizing the shooter. It's so important, I think, if you can, to watch that video so that, kind of like what we were talking with Dr. Mosenter, you're not numb to hearing the headlines. You're not numb to reading the headlines that there was a school shooter. We know that images change minds, and images can create action. We know the famous photos coming out of Vietnam, right? Seeing this guy, this shooter with this assault style rifle running through school hallways is jarring. Then seeing the number of police officers with guns and long guns trying to take him out, because it's difficult to take someone out who's hiding behind walls and doors and he's got an assault rifle, what it took to take him out. And it's shocking. It is upsetting, it's disturbing, it's tragic, and I think people need to see it to see the capacity of what one guy with an assault-style rifle can do, and these, helpless children in the building, and how it took that many police officers to take him down. They do blur out the body once the shooter has fallen.
And there were two things about it. First of all, the weapon, we heard the reporting at the time, it wasn't in very good shape, so that was one reason more people weren't hurt that day. And secondly, he didn't really know what he was doing to begin with. So we're thankful for those. And also, thirdly, the police got in and they took care of him as quickly as they possibly could. But when you see it, I don't think that you can make the argument that that kid should have had that weapon. Mm-hmm. And we know the parents made contact with police before that, concerned about him owning the weapon and wanting them to take it away. And we've seen the body cam footage from that too, where they tell him, we can't do anything. We can't take, because of Missouri law, we can't take that weapon away from him. You're going to have to hide it. And that's what they tried to do. And he went and got it anyway. So you tell me with a straight face, look me in the eye and say, well, yeah, no, there should not be a law against taking that weapon away from him. There just shouldn't be. And there are people who still argue for it. And that's the reason we still have weak gun laws in this state.
And there are red states with red flag laws, like Florida and Arizona, bastions of conservatism and of Republicans. And they do have effective red flag laws. The one in Florida went in place after the Parkland shooting. And I will say the video again from the CVPA shooting, I think the word I was looking for is terrifying. It's terrifying. I can't imagine being in that building, hearing the gunshots, knowing that guy is running around with an assault-style rifle. It's terrifying. I think people need to see it. I think when it comes to the victims, you have to be more careful with those videos. But I think, like Uvalde,
Adults need to see it.
well, every governor,
Adults,
legislator,
decision makers need to see it.
mayor needs
Yeah.
to see those videos.
Yeah, I know that most of them won't, and most of them put their heads in the sand, but they really need to see it. So it is out there for you to look at. I would recommend doing it, but if you're going to, I would not show kids probably, but if you're an adult, I think you should. Okay, we are broadcasting live from Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village, getting ready for afternoon baseball today. When we come back, John Rooney joins the show on KMOX.
Conservative Dave Wassinger is the only pro-Trump Republican running for lieutenant governor. Wassinger is the only candidate endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. And Wassinger is the only candidate for lieutenant governor with the guts to work with Trump to deport illegals. Wassinger's policy on illegal immigration is simple. Come here legally, or it's adios, amigos. Listen to conservative pro-Trump Republican Dave Wassinger.
President Trump is right. Illegals break our laws, steal our jobs, and overwhelm our hospitals. It has to stop. As my lieutenant governor, I'll fight to keep Missouri safe and deport illegals. You come here legally, or it's adios, amigos.
Dave Wassinger, tough on illegal immigration. Dave Wassinger, pro-Trump. Dave Wassinger, pro-life. Vote Dave Wassinger for lieutenant governor. Paid for by Wassinger for Missouri. Henry Charles Poles, treasurer.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 11:30, clouds and 90 degrees downtown at the Arch. The video is released.
Watch out. 2, 3.
Of the 2022 shooting at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. Video shows the shooter arriving at the school, a glass door breaking, him walking through the hallways. There's also body camera footage from officers confronting the shooter. We've got more coming up in the news at noon. Emergency vehicles are on 44 going east at 47. They're on the right shoulder. Disabled vehicle 6440 going east at 270. That's got the right shoulder closed there. Excessive heat warning continues through tomorrow. This afternoon, heavy thunderstorm passes just north and east of the city through early afternoon. Otherwise, sun and clouds with a high temperature near 100 for tonight. Could be a thunderstorm late, low 80 for tomorrow. Thunderstorm could produce damaging winds and flash flooding with a high temperature of 98. Sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It's cloudy and 90 right now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than 4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050. and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
We have over $34 trillion in national debt. Where do you think the money to pay for that is going to come from? Taxes. Believe it or not, taxes are at historic lows right now, but how much longer will that last? A Roth IRA conversion might be a good option when planning for your retirement because you can pay lower taxes now and avoid potentially higher taxes later. The FIRA Capital Management Team, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, have seen taxes rise and fall. They know what options you have to potentially reduce the amount of taxes you pay in retirement. Call the team at FIRA Capital Management and schedule your tax analysis today. 314-328-4400. Uncle Sam needs money. Don't let him take it all from you. 314-328-4400. Investing involves risk. Always consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding a Roth conversion, as there may be additional tax considerations. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
2-2 pitch to Tommy Pham is swung on, and there's a drive. Deep right center field. Way back. It's a grand slam. Welcome back, Tommy Pham. A grand slam pinch home run. How about that? Light up the night.
Another great one by our guy, John Rooney, as the Cardinals welcome, they welcome Tommy Pham. And then he said, hey, thanks for having me. Here's a grand slam. How do you like that? That happened last night on the day of the trade deadline. The Cardinals get the win against the Texas Rangers. They will finish up that series today. This afternoon's first pitch at 1:15. That means the pregame show on KMOX will get started at 12:20 with Tom Ackerman. To the Quiver River Electric guest line we go, and our regular Wednesday visitor, John Rooney, is joining us on the show. You heard him in that call right there. John, that's a great Cardinals moment to happen last night here, right after, on the day that he gets his first at-bat. You know, he's back with the team for the first time. He gets to do that. That's a really cool moment for the Cardinals and for Pham.
Well, probably one of the biggest moments since Albert Pujols and what we witnessed with his final season with the Cardinals and his run to top 700 home runs, and certainly what we saw on the day Adam Wainwright won his 200th game. That was a big moment. But for a lift the team needed to pick up a couple of pitchers to get a right-handed bat that can be effective off the bench and in the lineup against left-handed pitching, Tommy Pham more than delivered. He brought such a moment that will lift any team. And what he did last night, showing how happy he is to be back. He got a pitch and didn't miss it. And let's see what happens from here on.
Heard a little Mel Allen in that call too, John.
Well, what do you say at that moment? You're stunned.
The best. Yeah,
that's the whole thing, that you just expect him to put the ball in play. That's one thing I expected when he came up. But to pick on a changeup, he missed a changeup down and away for strike two, but then he got a little higher pitch. He said he wasn't looking for a changeup, but he got one up over the outside corner, and he didn't try to pull it. He hit it over the Phillips 66 sign in right center, and that put the game away for the Cardinals last night.
Yeah, so they pick up Pham, and you mentioned the two pitchers they get. They get the starting pitcher they were looking for, a reliever they were looking for. As you look at the total of their trade deadline activity, how do you feel about the roster right now?
I'd say mission accomplished for what they wanted to do and for all they had to deal with in terms of salary, money, and filling in spots with people who can be effective. Looking forward to Fedde pitching in Chicago, and just looking forward to how this team responds, though, coming off the grand slam last night, and what they'll do behind Michael McGreevy, who is making his major league debut. He has pitched really well recently, and he gets a chance to make his major league debut today against a really good Texas lineup that has, has Corey Seager in it, as well as Semien and Langford, the sensational rookie, hit a home run last night. This will not be an easy lineup for him to navigate, but we'll see how he does.
Yeah, John. So they've got this this series here against the Texas Rangers. The Cubs series will start tomorrow night. Obviously, first things first, you want to take care of business against Texas now. But I'm just thinking ahead to the division race and where they are now. They're still kind of about where they've been for the last several weeks, 6 games behind Milwaukee. They're going to play a division opponent over the weekend. What are, in your opinion, their odds of making up some of that ground now that they've made these moves at the deadline?
Oh, I don't know. I think you have to take today and win. And if you go beyond that philosophy, I think you're doing yourself a major disservice. And that's the way they're looking at it in that clubhouse. They're getting ready to play the Texas Rangers today and win. And then when they get to Wrigley Field, they'll be prepared for what's ahead of them tomorrow night. Then on Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, the Sunday night game of the world. And then they have to come back and play the New York Mets. So what I'm saying about deal with today, I think the schedule, when you look at it, that's highlighted even more. Take care of your business. Worry about everybody else. There is some head-to-head with Milwaukee, and there's a little head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll be coming in here for their last visit to Busch Stadium. But take care of business against Texas and then go after the Cubs tomorrow. Their chances of making it are only as good as the Cardinals taking care of their own business.
After the game, Lars Nootbaar said confidence is contagious. And I know we talk about momentum and you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt game by game, but confidence is a little bit different than momentum. That really can carry through one game into the next.
Well, I think it leads to momentum, and I also think it's much easier to go out there when you're feeling good about yourself. You have positive thoughts instead of, uh-oh, here we go again. I think we've had a few of those moments this year when they just couldn't link up the pitching with the hitting, and they got behind 9 games below 500 and turned that around on Mother's Day and played the best baseball in the National League up through the All-Star break. Stumbled a little bit out of the gate, but they have a chance to have a 3-3 homestand after a couple of games against Washington where they gave up double-figure runs, losing in extra innings 10-8 and then 14 runs the next time around. And to bounce back from that and have a big home run by Paul Goldschmidt on Sunday, and then had a thud of a game in Game 1 against Texas. But last night, to get the lead and play really good baseball in the inning where the Cardinals got the lead, they played good baseball. Single by Ciani, steals second, moves up on a ground out to the right side by Wynn, scores on a base hit by Burleson. And then the Cardinals kept the line moving after that, and Tommy Pham capped it off with a magical moment. One of the best we've seen since Albert's 700 home run that we saw a couple of years ago.
After last season and how difficult it was for the organization, naturally, when you have a manager in a position like that, a lot of people are paying attention to him going into the following year. But here are the Cardinals, and they, after a rough start, they've done really well. And like we've been mentioning, they're in a playoff position now. They're still within striking distance of the Central Division. How important, in your opinion, has Oliver Marmol been to this team this year?
I don't think Oliver has done anything differently this year from what he tried to do last year. It was a matter of execution. It didn't work out very well. Areas of the game didn't play well. And the starting pitching certainly didn't link up with the hitting when they needed. And the bullpen had to patch that together just to get through the season and then make changes with the starting rotation that they've made. And we haven't even talked about Lance Lynn pitching 5 innings and getting in position for a win with a bad knee. It was amazing how he made it through that, according to Oliver Marmol. But I don't think Ollie has really done anything different other than prepare his guys the same way. And he was positive through that mess last year and was really positive when the Cardinals were 9 under. And I thought they played well in that Saturday game in Milwaukee, the one they lost, and then won on Mother's Day and started that great stretch that took them over 500 and put them into a playoff conversation. But I don't think Oliver's done much differently. I think he's a good manager. He's a well-grounded baseball player, manager, and a coach before he was a manager. I think he's carried that forward. He has some fire to him. We've seen that when he's come out to argue calls on the field, and he'll have those stern conversations with players behind closed doors. But what he's out to do, along with the coaching staff, is prepare them to be the best they can be for that day and beyond. And I think he did that last year. It didn't work out. but he's doing that this year, and he's having some success with it, along with his coaching staff and along with what the players are doing when they get on the field.
You mentioned Lance Lynn. We should note that he has been placed on the injured list after pitching yesterday, the knee giving him problems, so he's on the IL. I also mentioned Michael McGreevy, who's making a major league debut. When a guy's pitching for the first time in the big leagues, is there anything in particular you're looking for from that starter?
I just look for him to go out there and throw strike one and then see if he can do it again. He has prepared himself for this moment, and let's see how he executes, as he'll be out there on the mound 115 if the weather will let us play. And right now the tarp's off the field. They have a tarp on the mound and around home plate, but we have players out playing catch in the outfield for both teams. But if he can execute what he has prepared, keep his team in the game, give up a run or two, but keep your team in the game, then I'd say it's a successful start for him. Are we looking for something like we've seen from Paul Skeens? No, we're not. But McGreevy has pitched well lately at AAA. He has been a top draft pick out of UC Santa Barbara, and now he's getting his chance. So I hope it all works well for him, because he's a wonderful person. 24 years old and a big guy at 6'4", and he worked his way up the minor league system starting in 2021, where he pitched at rookie ball, then Class A in 22. He pitched at Peoria and in Springfield, and then in 23, he was able to go Springfield, Memphis, and then 5-7 with Memphis in 20 starts this year. So I'm anxious to see him get out there and have a good day today.
And we mentioned the trades that the Cardinals made. We probably should mention the two guys that they lost in those deals, in Tommy Edman and Dylan Carlson, both who were big parts of the Cardinals' story over the last several years, though they took different paths. As you look at their tenure here, what are your thoughts?
Well, Tommy Edman, he just couldn't come back from injuries to help the Cardinals, and a number of teams expressed interest in Tommy Edman for good reason. He's won a Gold Glove, and he is a switch hitter who has some pop from both sides of the plate, and it was fun to watch him turn on pitches from left-handers and yank them into the seats in left field, and then to watch him not only play well in the infield, but to play a really good center field. But with Tommy becoming hurt and having the surgery at the end of last year, couldn't respond in spring training. Finally, when he got started with a rehab, he had an ankle problem that set him back. But when we saw Victor Scott II, where he couldn't handle big league pitching, thank goodness Michael Ciani was around, because Ciani catches everything out there almost, and he gives the Cardinals as good at a bat as we've seen since the All-Star break. He's growing at the plate, and with more playing time, he's getting better at putting the ball in play. That drag bunt single last night got them started on the way to the go-ahead run, and then the Cardinals just they kept going. They just kept the line moving and batted around, and Tommy Pham capped it off. But it was Michael Ciani who got it started. So Tommy Edman wasn't able to perform. It opened the door for Michael Ciani, and we wish Tommy the best. Dylan Carlson, his playing time was cut back because of an injury the next to last day of spring training. They were playing the Cubs down in Mesa, and he ran into Jordan Walker on a ball that Nico Horner hit to the wall in right center field. And those two guys came together, and Carlson dealt with the worst of it and had to go on the injured list. Took him a while to come back, and then had sporadic playing time that I don't think fit into helping him gain any kind of consistency. But let's wish him well as he moves on to Tampa Bay. And Tommy Edman, wish him well, because he's a terrific guy and gave the Cardinals some really good moments.
John, I know with the trade deadline, we throw a lot of names out there, but there's always the human side of things. These guys have families, kids, wives, girlfriends, whatever it may be. And in your career, was there ever someone that was traded that maybe hit you harder than another player, either because, you didn't get to see that person recently, didn't get to say goodbye, or maybe you were just surprised? Because there is that human side of the trade deadline.
Oh, there is, and you hate to see guys go, but there's usually a chance to catch up with them somewhere down the line, so I don't think that hit home as much. When the White Sox traded Ricky Horton to the Dodgers in 1988, Ricky called Ann and said, "Hey, Ann, get everything packed up. I got to go to L.A." See ya. He had no time. No time to go pack the U-Haul and head, off to the next spot. And that's what happens with baseball families. And you talk about how a player is resilient in handling things on the field, but, give their wives and those people in their families who do a great deal for them a lot of credit so they can perform at the big league level. It's amazing how they work hand in hand together as a team.
Well, John, before we let you go, we want to leave you with something that you can use on the broadcast today, if you're interested.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it to you anyway, so you can think about it. All right? Which days are the strongest? Which days are the strongest?
Are the strongest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get fried on Friday.
Well,
and
it's
what is it?
It's Saturday and Sunday. The rest are weekdays.
You can use that one.
That's
one's
such a good
family-friendly.
one.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, I know
not
it wasn't Friday.
No.
Even though I like Friday.
John Rooney, you're the best. Thank
I like
you.
payday.
Payday's great.
It's a great day.
Yes, it is.
You don't have to cash a check. It just shows up in your bank account now.
That is the strongest.
That's right.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
John.
Thank you, sir.
You got
See ya. John Rooney on the broadcast today. 1:15 first pitch. It is coming up. 12:20 pregame show. You'll never guess who's got that, Amy.
I think we do.
No, Tom Ackerman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I meant KMOX.
Tom Ackerman. Also, we got some tickets to give away for City and the Leagues Cup game on Sunday.
Watch out.
We'll let you know when it's time to win. You got to be listening for your chance. Chris and Amy from Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're from Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Biden's open border policies are crushing Missouri. Yet, the Jeff City Swamp is boosting a program subsidizing health care for illegals, the same program behind Planned Parenthood's discount abortion scheme. Thankfully, Iraq War veteran Andrew Bailey is on guard. Like Trump, he's a fighter. As your Attorney General, Andrew Bailey won't stop fighting illegal immigrants and Planned Parenthood. Call 314-3406-816 and thank Andrew Bailey. Stand For Us PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUs.com.
Hello, Missouri. I'm Jamie Corley, a fifth-generation Missourian and conservative outsider running for Secretary of State. The swamp establishment has embarrassed our state for too long. I'll fight to protect our values, support President Trump, and bring integrity back to Missouri. Join me, Jamie Corley, in this fight for real change. Vote for a proud Missourian who will always stand up for you. Paid for by Jamie Corley from Missouri, Mary C. Walsh, Treasurer.
Saturdays are made for soccer and City SC on Y98. Whether you're running around town watching your kids from the sidelines or making the time to give blood and save lives by making your appointment at Impact Life, your community blood center. Make your appointment today at bloodcenter.org/soccer. And remember, you can always catch the City SC game anywhere on the Odyssey app and on Y98, your home for St. Louis City Soccer.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan. If you haven't been to our Inverness community, don't wait. We are in our final phase. Conveniently located at Bryan and Feisey Road, not only will you get the legendary McKelvey quality, you will experience the extensive walking trails, 4 lakes, and pocket parks. We will build to order or select from one of our move-in ready designer market homes and save thousands, including our Sterling Ranch that has special 3.9% financing if qualified. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
I'm Rachel Zimmerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Durkin on a take, gives Betcher top of the box, tries to turn it back to Twitchard. Now turns it outside. Torres in, bounces wet. Twitchard, it's goal!
Well, baby, soccer's coming back on Sunday here in St. Louis.
With the Leagues Cup.
The Leagues Cup is happening, Amy, and wouldn't you like to go see them?
Listen, I might be going to see them. A lot of people are going to see them. We had Polo in studio the other day. He's going to the Leagues Cup game. Everybody who's anybody is going.
Well, I wasn't invited.
Oh, well, that is not surprising. Listen, if you're not going to the Leagues Cup, you need to go. But guess what?
Yeah.
We are generous people.
Yes.
And if you're very careful,
yes,
you might have a chance to win Leagues Cup tickets.
How?
Well, be careful, but if
Yes.
you are the 7th caller right now to the contest line, 314-955-1120, you could win some tickets to the Leagues Cup.
Oh, my gosh, because
Yeah.
the game's on Sunday, August 4th against FC Juarez, and we have a pair of tickets to give away right now.
Yeah, the 7th caller, 314-955-1120.
Oh, my God.
Just be careful.
Yeah, don't dial the wrong number. If you
cannot-
dial the regular call-in number, you won't win.
You won't win. You can't win on that line because it's not the contest line.
314-955-1120.
You should save that number in your phone because we are very generous. We have given away so many train tickets.
Yeah, well, tickets to see the band Train.
That's right. That's right. We've given away Santana tickets. We gave away tickets to see Heart.
We did.
We did. And Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow. Jimmy Buffett? No. Died. Wait, who died? Did Jimmy Buffett die or did I always get him? James
Buffett
Taylor died.
No.
James Taylor's still alive.
Jimmy Buffett died. We gave away tickets to see James Taylor.
Okay. That's right. Jimmy Buffett died.
You know
James
what? You need to be careful.
Bro, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about. I got them confused. I know they're very different people, different music. I totally get it, but
We
I
also
always get
gave
them
away
confused.
tickets to the Stagecoach
Festival. We did do that. And actually, we did not. It's a Stagecoach?
Not a Stagecoach.
You're so ridiculous.
We gave away tickets to a different thing.
Yeah, we sure did. You know what's coming up here on the station? Cardinals baseball. We are really just minutes away from it. The pregame show is coming up in less than 25 minutes. So you'll have that. Then a first pitch, 1:15. Day baseball at Busch is happening today. We're going to bring you the broadcast. But in the meantime, it's Amy Markscores and Chris Ranji live from Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village.
Stagecoach
Festival.
Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance, I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be listening to the radio anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, call 888-532-5016. Then, when you stop, if you stop listening to the radio, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab too. For a free personalized quote, call 888-532-5016 today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Patriots like President Trump never stop fighting for their country. Because Trump knows America's on life support and says Dr. Bob Onder can help him save it. Trump's endorsed Dr. Bob Onder for Congress, calling him an incredible America First patriot who will fight tirelessly for our families and conservative values. Dr. Bob Onder, the Trump-endorsed America First conservative. Kurt Schaefer is different. Trump calls Schaefer weak on MAGA because Trump knows his record, voting to let foreign-owned entities buy up Missouri farmland. Now China owns over 40,000 acres. And Schaefer's campaign took $30,000 from a Chinese-owned company. He won't make America great. He'll make China rich. If given the chance, Schaefer will do it again. Win It Backpack is responsible for the content of this ad. Paid for by Win It Backpack. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WinItBackpack.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a cloudy sky, currently 91 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, the St. Louis Police Department has released footage from school surveillance and police-worn body cameras from the CVPA shooting, which left 2 dead.
Watch out! 2, 3!
The 9-minute surveillance footage from the school security camera shows Harris drive up onto the sidewalk outside the school at 9:02 a.m. 5 minutes later, Harris was shown firing several shots through a glass-pane doorway and entering the school. At 9:08, Harris, dressed in all black with a cross-body bag strapped to him and an AR-15 in hand, enters the hallway outside the gym. Harris enters the gym where he fired several rounds off camera. At 9:11, SLMPD is dispatched for the first time while Harris roams the second floor. At 9:18, Harris is now on the 3rd floor reloading as the fire alarm is pulled. At approximately 9:20, he enters the computer lab as 2 St. Louis police officers armed with a shotgun and handgun sprint to the end of the hall with more officers behind. Harris then engages in a firefight with officers before being shot and killed. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The city has mental health resources available at 314-657-1585, or you can call the mental crisis hotline at 888. We'll have those numbers for you at KMOX.com. Opening statements are expected today in a lawsuit stemming from a deadly school shooting.
The parents of Demetrius Pogorczyk are facing a negligence lawsuit for not securing guns he allegedly used in a school shooting near Houston, Texas. The gunfire at Santa Fe High School in 2018 claimed 10 lives. Pogorczyk, who's now 23, is facing capital murder charges. His case is on hold since he's been declared incompetent to stand trial. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Ismail Haniyeh, a Hamas leader who's been on Israel's hit list since October 7th, is killed in an airstrike.
Ismail Haniyeh's death makes him the latest Hamas official to be killed by Israel since the Hamas-led October 7 attacks, while Hamas's Gaza leader, Yahya Sinwar, is believed to have been the mastermind of the attacks. Haniyeh, seen as a more moderate force in Hamas, lauded them as a humiliating blow to Israel's aura of invincibility. Michael Milstein, a Hamas expert at Tel Aviv University, says Haniyeh had a commanding role in the group's foreign policy and diplomacy, but was less involved in military affairs. Haniyeh was also under the eye of the International Criminal Court, whose chief prosecutor sought arrest warrants against him and other Hamas leaders for war crimes and crimes against humanity. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Prosecutors in Washington, D.C. are suing StubHub, saying the platform tricks consumers into overpaying for tickets. CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
This ticket buyer is annoyed.
What's the point of all the hidden fees?
D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab says
StubHub intentionally misleads consumers.
He says it's called drip pricing and that StubHub deceptively offers a low price at the front end, lures consumers into a long purchase process, and then hits them with fees, boosting the price of a ticket by 40%. The lawsuit says the practice violates D.C.'s Consumer Protection Procedures Act. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
StubHub says its user experience is consistent with the law, its competitors' practices, and the broader e-commerce sector. The KMOX Business Desk, new results from a CDC study found that exposure to a controversial weed killer has been widespread. Here's Alexander Tim.
More than 8 in 10 Americans, including young children, had been exposed to the widely used and controversial weed killer known as glyphosate. That's according to new results from a CDC study looking at urine samples collected through 2018. While the EPA in 2020 concluded that glyphosate did not pose any risks of concern to human health, the CDC researchers do note that some studies in humans and animals have suggested links to cancer and other health risks.
The brand name for the product made by St. Louis County-based Bayer Crop Science is Roundup. The Dow from Stifel is up 281 points to 41,024.
Some heavy gusty thunderstorms will rumble through just north and east of the city during the late morning and early afternoon hours. And times of sun and clouds, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high close to 100. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. We've got some sun in Florissant. It's 92. Clouds in 92 in St. Peter's. And some clouds, some sun, 91 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
All right, dudes, we're doing pre-game here. The Cardinals are taking on the Texas Rangers. It is the finale of the series, and hopefully the Cardinals win today. Then they got the Cubs in a 4-game series coming up here. Anyway, hey,
Look,
Amy.
Anyway, yeah.
The cheating scandal. I told you about the cheating scandal with the Canadian team. All right.
Canadian soccer team,
Yep.
women's soccer team.
This is awesome,
Okay.
by the way.
Okay.
Totally awesome. So they were docked 6 points because of the cheating scandal where they were found to be flying a drone over the New Zealand practice and very clearly spying, right? So the woman at the center of this is the soccer manager, Bev Priestman.
Yeah.
So in order to get the sentence reduced, they had to turn over a bunch of correspondence in order to get the 6 points back, right?
Okay.
In the correspondence,
Yeah.
the woman literally used the word spying. She had had a previous conversation with a soccer analyst asking this analyst to assist in the spying, and the person responded that they weren't comfortable in doing so. So this woman, Bev Priestman, writes in a subsequent email to an HR consultant, quote, seeking your advice and input here regarding this formal email on spying. She used the word?
Oh, no.
That's so
And you know
unbelievable.
What's funny is you can see a drone, you can hear a drone depending on how high it is. So you're going to notice it. The only way I would have respected the Canadian team a bit more and would have said give them their points back if they had just used a hot air balloon. If they had someone in a hot air balloon with binoculars flying over the practice for New Zealand, that would have been funny to me.
So
I would have
awesome.
respected it. But a drone is obnoxious. Hey, let's stick with the Olympic theme here and stay in Paris. And congratulations to Simone Biles in the USA women's gymnastics team winning the gold medal. Simone Biles is now the most decorated U.S. gymnast in Olympic history. It is so exciting. She was able to pass Shannon
that's
Miller.
great.
They were both
Yeah.
tied at 7 medals, and now they'll go on to the individual events. But let me just tell you, I was screaming at the TV. I was so excited. I'm so into it. I think I'm in love with Simone Biles. She's just amazing.
Oh, she's great.
She's so amazing. And
Yeah, she's
I felt
very good.
so patriotic. I felt so patriotic watching her. Also, back to the swimming pool. The medals are being given out. Races are being had, but not a lot of world records are being set. And the times for a lot of these athletes are slower by like a second than they were previously. And you know why? Do you know why? It's
Because the pool's too shallow.
Well,
They put motor oil in it.
you're almost right on one of them. Yeah, it's slow water.
Yeah, what does slow water even mean?
Slow water to me is like there's cornstarch and it's thick. That's not what it means.
Oh.
So you are kind of on the nose there with the pool being just over 2 meters. And in previous Olympics, the swimming event pools are 3 meters deep. Now, you only have to be 2 meters for Olympic swimming. For artistic swimming, you need 3 meters, which is why a lot of times the pools are just 3 meters anyway. But because that's at a different event, they made this 2 meters because they wouldn't have to make the pool as deep. They could have more seating in the lower bowls, but it also means that there's more turbulence in the water.
Yeah.
So that was some of the theory. But then Rowdy Gaines, the broadcaster / analyst.
We've had Rowdy on before.
We have. And some of the other swimmers said, yeah, that may be true in the finals, but in some of the semifinals and prelims, the swimmers are putting up pretty good times. They're kind of breaking some records. So they think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy now that all the swimmers are jumping in thinking the water is slow.
So, I mean, mentally, that probably does something to
It does.
you.
It does. Plus, this I didn't know. I found this out this morning. The swimmers have to ride a bus for 90 minutes from the athletes' village to the pool every day, there and back. 90 minutes. That can't be easy.
And are they all on the same bus?
I mean,
If you're
multiple
competing
buses.
against each other?
I bet you
Or
are.
does Team USA get their own bus? And
I don't
the
think.
next
I
team?
don't know that every country has their own bus. Listen, I'm not privy to this information.
Okay.
But the bus is 90 minutes, whether you're on.
Because you could
with
start a real good
oh.
rivalry with
You
people
could.
on the bus, and maybe you pick a fight with somebody.
Oh, I love to pick a fight.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. There should probably be more fighting in the
Swimming.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Just generally speaking, in the Olympics. So we're at Cardinals Nation right now at Ballpark Village, and Michael McGreevy is starting.
Yeah.
Today for the Cardinals. He's making his major league debut. Apparently, his family is sitting in that table right over there at Cardinals Nation because a
Oh.
gentleman came up and frantically wrote this note, and it said Michael McGreevy's family with an arrow.
Which table?
That one right there.
With
So they're here,
The lady standing up in the white pants.
I guess. Anyway,
Wow.
but if you come by,
Wish him luck.
find Michael McGreevy's family, wish them luck on his very first start in the major leagues, and he's starting for the Cardinals
That
today.
is so exciting. Where
I
is
know.
McGreevy? Like, what's his hometown? I can't remember.
I don't know.
We'll
You're
have to
putting
look.
me on the spot.
I'm
I can
so
find
sorry.
out.
I'll give another Olympic update while you find out where Michael McGreevy's from. Guess what? The triathletes.
He's from San Clemente, California.
Excellent.
Yes.
The triathletes quickly in Paris. They have not been able to practice in the Seine River because it's full of poop. It's got bacteria in it. It's not safe.
But I saw them swimming today.
Well, yesterday the river was not safe, and they said, oh, no, that's okay. It will be safe tomorrow. All the E. coli will be gone. And right now, the triathletes, lo and behold, they jumped into the Seine.
You know what?
I hope they all have some Pepto-Bismol
Listen.
and some antibiotics.
Hey.
What if you have a cut?
Hey, you tell those swimmers that are in the short pool
The shallow pool?
the shallow pool
Yeah.
to stop complaining, because it could either be slow water or poo water. Which one do you want?
That's exactly right. I will always take slow water over poopy water.
Well, that's what those people are doing in the Seine. That really, it's. I'm not surprised, because look, Paris should have an Olympics. I think it's cool. It's a great setting. It's a great city to have it in. So cool, right? But it just does kind of sucks how the Olympic Committee, the IOC, is just so corrupt, and they get these. They're all getting paid under the table to select certain cities, which is astounding to me.
The IOC is in bed with totalitarian states and authoritarian dictators. I mean, I do think it's obscene, the sports washing, when we have the Olympics in China, like we recently did. And that there's a genocide of Uyghur Muslims just miles down the road, or in Russia, where China and Russia allegedly spoke, and China asked Russia, don't invade Ukraine until after the Olympics.
And in Sochi, you couldn't flush.
You
Sochi had to throw away the stuff.
So I know there's a ton of sports washing. I get it, but it's not the athletes' fault. It's not the Team USA. It's not their fault. And can I just say this about Team USA? I love Team USA so much. No other country looks like Team USA. Team USA is representative of every ethnicity, religion, life, everything. I love it so much, because it really, really, truly shows that we are a melting pot, that people come from all over the world to be part of the United States, to be Americans. And I never feel so patriotic as I do watching the Olympics and seeing all of Team USA and how beautiful Team USA is. Look at me. I'm losing my mind.
You really are. You are just, you're losing it.
Like no other team is like Team USA. We've got a diversity of everything in Team USA.
I get it.
It's so cool.
Well, go USA. The Olympics continue. They're ongoing right now. But Cardinals baseball is coming up. We're going to be back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We want you to be listening to the show. And anything you missed today, of course, is on the free Odyssey app. Have a terrific day. Here come the Cardinals. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.